Have you ever gotten a paper back, stared at all the feedback, and just felt like your writing isn't hitting the mark? Yeah, it's a super common challenge. But what if I told you that great academic writing isn't some kind of magic? It's really more like architecture. Today, we're going to lay out the blueprint for building a powerful argument, piece by piece.
Right? Do you get comments like, "Be more formal," written in the margins? Do your arguments feel like they could get knocked over by just one tough question? If you're not in your head right now, trust me, you are in exactly the right place.
So let's get to building that foundation. We're going to start by looking at the 5 essential pillars that support any great academic argument. And then we'll learn how to spot and avoid the 5 most common pitfalls that can make the whole thing just crumble.
Okay, first up, the 5 pillars. I want you to think of these as the main load-bearing walls of your essay. If you get these right, you're going to have a solid structure to build everything else on. And here they are: keeping a formal tone, backing everything up with evidence, having a clear structure, using precise vocabulary, and of course, smooth transitions. Let's dive in and break down what each one of these really means.
So pillar number 1 is all about that formal tone. Look, this isn't a text message to a friend, you know? Instead of saying something like, "Kids these days don't like exams," just elevating your language to "Students often dislike examinations" instantly sounds way more objective and credible. It's a small tweak, but it has a huge impact on how seriously people take your work.
Next up, evidence. A claim like time management improves performance, well, it's just kind of an opinion floating in the air, isn't it? But watch what happens when we anchor it with a source. Research by Smith 2021 shows. See? Now it's a verifiable point. This is the real difference between just stating an idea and actually proving it.
Okay, pillar 3 is structure. Think of your essay's structure as a roadmap for your reader. The introduction? That's you promising where you're going to take them, with your thesis statement being that big X on the map. The body paragraphs are the step-by-step directions, using evidence to guide them along. And the conclusion? Well, that reminds them of the amazing journey and why it all mattered.
Vocabulary is our 4th pillar. And believe me, the words you choose really matter. A lot of students is kind of vague and casual, but a significant number of students, that sounds more precise and it just carries more weight. It shows you've thought carefully not just about what you're saying, but how you're saying it.
And our final pillar, using transitions. Words like moreover, however, and therefore are literally the bridges between your ideas. They're like signposts for your reader, showing them exactly how one point connects to the next. Without them, your essay is just a list of random statements. But with them, it becomes a single, flowing argument.
All right, with our 5 pillars in place, that foundation is looking pretty strong. But you know, even the strongest building can have weak spots. So now, let's look at the 5 common pitfalls. These are the simple mistakes in language and logic that can totally undermine all your hard work.
So, pitfall number 1. This is a quick and easy one to fix. Words like don't, can't, and it's are contractions. In formal writing, you always want to spell them out. Do not, cannot, it is. It's such a simple rule, but it makes a huge difference in your tone. Next, try to avoid using the first person. A phrase like, "I think social media is bad," puts the whole argument on you and your opinion. But when you rephrase it to something like, "Social media can negatively affect mental health," the focus shifts to the evidence. It's not just your opinion anymore, it's a testable claim, and that makes for a much stronger argument.
Hey, remember our pillar about using evidence? Well, this is the pitfall you fall right into when you don't use it. An unsupported claim like online learning is better is, well, it's pretty much meaningless. Better for who? In what way? Citing a source, like Johnson here, anchors your claim in reality and turns a vague opinion into a credible point.
Okay, this is a big one. Avoid those super long, tangled sentences. That first example just crams way too many ideas together, and it's clunky and hard to read. The second version, it's crisp, it's direct, it makes the exact same point with so much more clarity and impact. Your goal is to be understood, not to create some kind of marathon sentence.
Now, before we get to our final and probably most critical pitfall, we need to talk about a key skill, paraphrasing. And this isn't just about swapping out a few words here and there. It's about really understanding someone else's idea and then explaining it in your own voice. This is how you engage with other research and build on it, while always giving credit where it's due.
And that brings us to the biggest pitfall of them all, plagiarism. This is all about academic integrity. You just can't present someone else's work as your own, ever.
Using that skill of paraphrasing we just talked about and always citing your sources is how you stay on the right side of this. It's how you ethically use research to support your own original argument.
So after we've laid down all those pillars and dodged all those pitfalls, what are we really trying to do here? What's the point? Well, it all boils down to two really important things.
At the end of the day, this is the goal. Everything we've talked about, from a formal tone to citing your sources, it's all in service of these two simple words: clarity and credibility. You want your message to be instantly understood, and you want your argument to be completely believable. If you can do that, you've absolutely won.
And this is why this whole thing matters so much, even outside of school. In any profession, whether you're writing a business proposal or a medical report, clear and credible communication is what builds trust. So as you practice these skills, ask yourself this: how is the way I write today building the foundation of trust for my future?